The world of business process automation is a contested field of competent players, each delivering their version of productivity. Gartner's Magic Quadrant for this industry visualizes the position of each player, and it highlights the gains that K2 has made in recent years as it positions itself to challenge market leaders. K2 workflows have an excellent engine and designer, but their web form technology, SmartForms, have some opportunities for growth as developing and debugging forms is quite difficult. A SmartForm has rules. A rule is another name for an event. Events have actions, and actions do the work on a form. Detailed forms may have hundreds of events and actions. Actions can call or trigger other events, resulting in a complex cascade of events and actions. Debugging this cascade of events is exceptionally unproductive for the developer and has the ability to push some of them over the edge. The primary means of debugging is displaying messages. This is a time-consuming practice that fails the modern developer who is surrounded by a wealth of excellent software. I spent 2 years writing smart forms for a project, and the feeling of having to debug another form was quite depressing. To fix this, I wrote a debugger called SmartForm Assistant. It's a Chrome extension which is simple to use, and once installed, there's no configuration or setup. It's always loaded. The form requires no modification for debugging. Watch as I debug the following form. This form has almost 200 events and over 600 actions. It had been in production for a while, but it needed some modifications. I modified the database, stored procedures, smart objects, views, and the main form. Testing was going fine until I tested the creation of a new mission. Suddenly, I was presented with SmartForm's ping of death. This error has little information, and I suggest that K2 actually replace it with the following message. While humorous, anyone who has faced this error on a complex form would no doubt agree. The difficulty with this save button is it calls several smart objects outside the scope of the form, saves the parent, the children, gets the next mission number, adds an audit entry, and sets records for dashboards. There are a total of 9 smart objects called. Pressing F12 loads Chrome's DevTools. Selecting the Custom SF Assist tab activates the assistant. Bear with me as the app is in a late alpha stage and the design still needs refinement. The first task of the assistant is to load a definition of the rules in the form. This is the fastest way to access the rules. They are keyboard navigable all the way down to configuration, and you'll be able to search and print. Yesterday, I needed to find a smart object call on a complex form that I had not looked at in several months, and it was extremely easy and fast to find that rule. The ability to view rules is useful, but that's not the primary goal of the assistant. Let's click the Event tab and press Save again. This tab follows the events, actions, and smart object calls as they execute. Look at all the work that one click did. It's easy to see why debugging forms in your head is so difficult. If we scroll down to the end of the events, we see the last smart object call where the error happened. Let's open the parameters used in the call. Mission ID looks great, but the previous mission status is false. Now I know that that's an integer, and converting false to a number will fail. The error message did tell us that, but it gave us absolutely no clue as to where that error occurred. Now, let's look at the definition of this call by double-clicking on the relevant action above. This shows me the call, and I can look at what happens in the call. Here, I see I use the initial mission status data label as part of my source. Let's switch over to the Parameters and Data Fields tab. Here's the field, and it's set to false. I realize that an existing mission has a value for this field, but a new mission doesn't have one, and this is the default value that K2 assigned the field. Alright, let's set that to 0. So the assistants just modified the field on the form. Now let's try the save again. And it works. A SmartForm developer could tell you how long that would have normally taken to fix, and that took less than a minute. The assistant's a game changer for debugging SmartForms, and I hope this short demo gave you some idea of what it's capable of.